Hi everyone, and welcome to a bit of a channel update. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been going on in general. I did talk about a lot of these things on Discord, but I figured not everyone hangs out on my Discord. And a video form would be much better. Because some of you might be confused, you might be having some questions. So generally speaking, a lot of the things I experimented with for the past year, or even more than that, has been for one single purpose. Those of you who follow my channel regularly and look at my stats already know that I haven't been doing that well basically for the past 2 years. And by the way, right now in September, it's been 2 years since I reached 90,000 subscribers. 2 years! And I'm not even remotely close to 100k. So that's been basically the purpose of a lot of the things I experimented with for the past year or maybe year and a half. And what I'm doing right now is part of that. So I've been adding closed captions to every single video for the past week or so. If you don't know what that is, that's basically English subtitles. And you might be wondering right now, alright, that's cool, but who actually cares about that? And yeah, that's true. I know most of you don't care about that, especially since I literally got some stats how many people actually use it. However, that's not quite the purpose of it. Because what you might not know is that YouTube uses automated captions, which, to be fair, you probably know that part because they are just hilariously terrible. And they are already terrible for most people. And with my accent, they are even worse than that. It's just another level of terrible. They are already bad to begin with, even if you have like impeccable English accent or whatever. They are already bad then. And with me, they are even worse. But what actually matters here is that YouTube itself uses captions to actually evaluate your video. Which isn't even speculation, there was a research white paper a while ago where they literally straight up just said that. They use that information as metadata to evaluate your video. And obviously other things. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to try using closed captions. It is a bit of a pain in the ass, which is why the videos I published recently have been shorter. It takes me about an hour to do closed captions for 20 minutes of video. And that's if I'm fast and I manage to do it efficiently. If I can't do it efficiently, it's more like an hour and a half or even longer than that. So basically at least an hour to do 20 minutes of a video, which is a huge pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. However, I already see positive effects of that in my analytics and on the channel. Like, it's a small thing, but I can already see a major effect that it had. Because my numbers, at least in terms of channel growth, are actually in the green now. And with my current rate, I would still need like half a year to reach 100k. But you know what, that's heck of a lot better than being in the red for the better part of the past year, or year and a half. So honestly, I'm just happy something worked. It probably wasn't just that exclusively, it's never really that simple, but I can definitely tell that it helped if I compare my current Civ 6 series with the previous two that I did, for example. So the Canada game and the Eleanor game. I can literally see from like the sources, because I can see actual traffic sources in real time on every new video that I publish. So not only I can see how many views that video is getting, I can see what kinds of sources those views are coming from. And it's quite different to every video I publish without closed captions. So I can definitely tell there's a positive effect going on there. Whether it's worth spending as much time doing them, that remains to be seen. But honestly, I've been at 90k for 2 years, and if this helps me reach 100, I will friggin' do it. At this point, I just want to make that push for 100k. And it's not just about the number, because it's heck of a lot more than just a number. And it's not even about the plaque that YouTube sends you to hang on your wall or whatever. There are certain privileges that you unlock by getting 100k subscribers. So just that reason alone And honestly, it just doesn't feel very good to be stagnating for basically 2 years. And right now, in the past week, I'm not. Not anymore. I don't know if this can be a long-term effect. It's only been a week since I really started. But I hope it's going to help long-term. We'll see about that. So in case you're wondering why all the recent videos have been around 20 minutes, this is pretty much the reason. It's a massive pain in the ass to do closed captions for like a half hour or longer video. But also there are other reasons, and this might be part of the reason why I'm doing better lately. The average watch duration of an average gaming video on YouTube is 7 minutes. And this is from YouTube itself directly. It's from an actual good YouTube source. On my channel it's about 13 minutes. That's average view duration, as in how much of the video on average one person will watch. So mine is already twice as long as the average watch duration of a gaming video on YouTube, an average gaming video, quote unquote. So there's a reason why a lot of people are making videos of certain duration. There's a very good reason behind that. And you won't see a lot of super long videos. Obviously they still happen and they can still be successful. But generally speaking, what YouTube actually wants from you... Now I don't want to get too much into like the algorithm talk, because if you hang out on my Discord, then you probably know how I spent literal hours talking about that. I could literally talk about this right here for 10 hours and I would not even begin to exhaust the topic. It's like huge, massive topic, and there are also people who are far more knowledgeable about this than me. But the short version is that there are a few super important metrics on YouTube that basically decide how your videos are going to perform. One of them is CTR, which is short for click-through rate, which is fairly self-explanatory. That means how many people actually saw your thumbnail somewhere on YouTube and then clicked on it. That's the short version of what that means. But then there's also retention, watch time, and average view duration, which is basically 3 different ways of looking at kind of the same thing. There's actual absolute watch time in minutes, so your video might have, let's say, 100,000 minutes of watch time, which means everyone who watched that video accumulated a total of 100,000 minutes of watching that video in actual real time. So if you watch a video with, let's say, double speed, and you watch a 30-minute video in double speed, that's 15 minutes watch time. This is how much actual real time you spent watching. It doesn't matter how you watched. Double speed, half speed, triple speed, it's actual real time. Then there's average view duration. So for example, in my case, that's usually around 13 minutes, which means an average person will spend 13 minutes watching a video. And then there's retention, which is in percentage. So 50% retention means that an average person watching the video spent 50% of that video's length watching it. So if you have a 30-minute video, then 50% retention means that an average person watching that video spent 15 minutes watching it. And generally speaking, like this is very broadly speaking, it's like a super generalization. But basically, generally speaking, YouTube wants you to have a 50% or higher retention, like regardless of what your video length is. If you're below 50%, you are much less likely to be promoted by the search and discovery algorithm. Again, this is like super overgeneralization because this is an incredibly complex topic. I could talk about it for 10 hours and I would not even begin to scratch the surface. But generally speaking, you want to have at least 50% and you want to have as much watch time as possible in terms of actual total minutes, actual absolute watch time. So what that means is that the longer your video is, the harder it is to get that 50% or higher. If you make a 4-minute video, it's much easier to get someone to commit to watching 2 minutes of that than it is to make a 40-minute video and have an average person watch at least 20 minutes of that. Sometimes it doesn't even matter how good your video is going to be, people just won't watch that so long. Because more than half of all the traffic on YouTube today is from mobile. Mobile is more than half of all the traffic on YouTube. It's the number one device that people watch YouTube from. So that means watch time is inherently lower on mobile, because people often use it to watch something while commuting, for example. You are not going to watch a 30-minute video while you're commuting somewhere. You're going to watch it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Or if you are waiting somewhere for something, it's just the nature of mobile devices. So that means getting that 50% is that much harder. And there are many other reasons why it's harder. But what that means in practice is that you want to find some kind of like middle ground between getting that watch time in terms of actual total minutes or hours and retention. Because like you want the video to be as long as possible to get as much watch time as possible, but at the same time you want it to be shorter to be able to get that 50% or higher retention reliably. Like, I know this already sounds kind of complicated, and trust me, there's like a lot more to that. Like, you could literally write a book about all this. You could write a dissertation and not exhaust the topic. And there are a lot of things that aren't like completely known. Not all of this is speculation. YouTube literally published a white paper about a lot of this, a research white paper, where they straight up say what they do. So a lot of this is not actual speculation. YouTube literally straight up tells you this. But some of it is. I mean, it's like not actually speculation, but it's based on A/B testing, it's based on actual observation, research people have done, blah blah blah. Like, there are people who are far more knowledgeable than me. But what this comes down to is that the things I've been experimenting with for the past year or so, this was the reason why. Like, I wanted to make my channel healthy again, because it hasn't been healthy for the past year and a half. That's just the truth. It's not me being like negative or anything. That's just the literal truth. I've been in the red for the better part of that time. And now there's something that you also should know. If you're not aware, that losing subscribers is a completely natural part of being on YouTube. Literally every single channel that has ever existed on YouTube loses subscribers. Sometimes hundreds or even thousands of them a day, depending on the size of that channel. Like, I guarantee there isn't a single channel on this entire platform, other than super small channels that don't have subscribers to begin with, that isn't losing subscribers. It's a natural process. People get older, people change interests, blah blah blah. There are dozens of reasons. But the trick is that you gain more than you lose. Like, that's how you generate a positive number. You don't get zero losses and then a bunch of people who join. You just gain more than you lose. And if you gain less than you lose, then you are in the red, you are in the negatives. And my rate of like losing subscribers has not changed in the past 6 years. So it's been pretty much the same for that entire time. Back when I experienced the fastest growth in case of my channel, which wasn't really that fast. But anyway, historically for me, even when I was at my actual peak growth, my unsubscribe rate was basically the same as it is today. What changed is actual traffic from new viewers. I've been getting close to none for almost 2 years because I struggled with visibility and discoverability on YouTube. There have been some major changes in how YouTube actually works in the past 2 years. Like, if we go back in time 2 years, then YouTube today, in terms of how it actually works, is a very different platform compared to YouTube in 2017. Like, it's just a straight up different platform. A lot of parts of it work completely differently. It prioritizes different metrics. So you have to adapt. A lot of people moved to Twitch as a result. Like, I have a lot of friends who run gaming channels on YouTube, but they didn't want to write a book about the friggin' YouTube algorithm. Obviously, that's like figuratively speaking, not literally. So they moved to Twitch, where you don't have to worry that much about like the algorithm. Obviously, there are other things you don't have to worry about there, but let's not get into that topic. That's way outside of the scope of this particular video. But I think you get the point. Like, YouTube evolved a lot in the past 2 years in terms of how it actually works and how videos are discovered and how channels are discovered. While I haven't really changed my content at all. So, like, I need to do something, and that's what I've been trying to do. There were other things that I experimented with, some of the formats, like I did with They Are Billions. Like, I did several experiments in They Are Billions videos. Some of them worked better than others, But the point is, if I don't try new things, then I will never know if they're going to work or not. Like, that's how you find what's going to work, by trying. And I've been trying. Like, I'm many things, but I can definitely say one thing about myself. I might not be as funny, smart, or whatever compared to many other YouTubers, but I'm really damn stubborn, and there's no way I'm quitting. I've been doing this for 8 years. I got this freaking far, there's no way I'm quitting. So I will be here unless YouTube like bans me or some shit. That's the only way I'll quit. If YouTube like shuts down entirely or removes me from the platform, which like I hope they won't, they don't have any reason to. But you get the point. And I think that's basically it. If you're interested in all of this, then my Discord is basically the best place to talk about that. I spent hours talking about all of this and other things on Discord a few times. And generally speaking, I'm very active there overall. So if you already use Discord but you're not there, then I highly recommend it. And I think that's it for this update. If you got any feedback or if you just want to say anything in particular, then do post it in the comments below. I will read them. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Honestly, let me know if you would like me to do like update videos like this regularly, because I'm honestly not sure if people are even interested in like having me talk about the overall state of the channel, so to speak. But hey, if you guys are interested, then I'll do it more often, regularly. But for now, that's the end of this video, so thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.